I'm Flavia Bellieni Zimmerman from the Australian Institute of International Affairs, and today we have with us Dr. Mohi Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, he is a lecturer of computing and security at Edith Cowan University, and today we'll be discussing cybersecurity. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Ahmed.
Thanks for having me.
In your opinion, what are the leading challenges to cybersecurity worldwide?
That is a very interesting question. So there are plenty of challenges in cybersecurity worldwide, but I would like to focus on a single one. And according to my professional experience, I think that is one of the important challenges we need to address. That is the lack of balance between the number of internet connected devices we have and will have and the cyber hygiene or cyber awareness among the end users. So tech giants such as Cisco estimated that by 2030, there will be more than 500 billions of internet connected devices. But simultaneously, we are not going to pay similar attention to the cybersecurity awareness programs and cyber hygiene practices we need to have. So on average, a single house will have at least 5 to 10 internet connected devices. But we always tend to enjoy the technology and all the parts come with these devices. But do we ask ourselves that are we exposing ourselves to cybercrime? We become so much happy just after getting the newest iPhones. So iPhone 13 is out now. But do we ask ourselves, am I going to be vulnerable if I use this device? So that is the challenge we need to address worldwide. Otherwise, we will keep seeing cybercrime, and the cost of cybercrime in Australia in 2020 was more than 33 billions of dollars. So you can see that we need to work together and come up with a solution to address this challenge.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. And can you please explain how cybersecurity can expose government critical infrastructure as well as military hardware and intelligence?
Well, thank you for the question. Yes, as I said, we are heavily relying on internet connected devices. If I take the example of government critical infrastructure, for example, healthcare or hospitals, hospitals are embracing smart medical devices in a rapid pace. Why? Because there is a reason behind that. Because according to Delaware Center for Health Solutions, the number of senior citizens or people over 65 years of age will be twice by 2050. But at the same time, we are not seeing an increase in healthcare professionals or caregivers at the same rate. So we have to rely on technology to provide adequate healthcare services and patient monitoring. So we are bound to rely on healthcare smart devices. But when these healthcare devices are being manufactured, the manufacturers did not consider that there might be some cybercrime. So everyone in the healthcare ecosystem, everyone is there for a noble cause. We are going to keep everyone healthy. But we never considered the cybercrime or cyber attacks to be happening in this healthcare sector. So yes, there is a lack of cybersecurity practices in healthcare sector, and as we are using more and more internet connected devices in healthcare setup, we are exposing ourselves to more and more cybercrime. In terms of the military hardware and intelligence, I think most of the countries' law enforcement agencies or defense forces are using unmanned aerial vehicles or drones for reconnaissance purposes. But all these drones are connected to the communication network. So what if the adversaries or cyber criminals tamper into those communication channels and feed false information? So imagine if in real-time battlefield aviation, if the decision makers are relying on those tampered information, the consequences would be deadly, and in worst case scenario, the defense forces' lives will be at stake. So we don't want that to happen.
Thank you very much. Now, I have a pressing question regarding the current outrage of Facebook and Instagram. Many people were concerned with cybersecurity issues regarding identity theft. Would you like to comment? What are your views in this regard?
Yes, this is very interesting time we're living in, and especially in the age of social media, we don't really care about whether the service providers like Facebook or Instagram are they doing enough. We are happy to use the Facebook, and we love being connected in Facebook, and we love to show off. I mean, obviously I do sometimes using Instagram, but I mean, as I said in my first questions answer, that as end users, we are not asking the question that is Facebook doing enough to protect our privacy? Is our data, in Facebook and Instagram, we often share something which are super sensitive. For example, we post pictures of our house, of our friends, families, everything. And if those information or if those data or photos are in wrong hands, the cyber criminals are smart enough to reverse engineer and track you. And once your location, once your identity, once your background, once your addresses are identified, you can become the next target of those cyber criminals. So yes, as users, we have to ask ourselves the question that, yes, whatever I'm doing, is it the right thing to do?
Excellent. Thank you so much for your reflections. And in your view, how cybersecurity can be weaponized in the Indo-Pacific?
Uh, it's not a matter of can be. It's a matter of what is happening. So if you are following the news in recent times, there are deadly cybersecurity practices. For example, an Israeli technology firm called NSA Group, they have developed one spyware software. So basically, that software name is called Pegasus. So if that software is being used for malicious purpose, anyone using that software can have access to your smartphone. And you won't even have any clue that someone else is controlling or accessing your smartphone. And according to a recent statistics and investigation, it is found that this particular Pegasus spyware is sold to 40 unnamed countries. And when the number is 40, there might be a few countries, or if not at least half, in the Indo-Pacific region. So in this region, everyone is trying to be the cyber superpower. So what if this Pegasus spyware is being used by those sophisticated state-based actors, and the imaginations are limitless? We have no clue what they can do, and we don't really know if someone else is listening to our smartphone and have access to our smartphone. They can get all the sensitive information, all the classified information they need, and they can come up with a newer variants of attacks. So yes, this is already happening.
And what would you suggest for people watching this video and to your students, perhaps at Edith Cowan, that could be used as countermeasures to these cyber attacks?
So if you are using iPhone, so you have to check whether you have got any notification from Apple that you need to update your software. So all the Android and iPhone users, so they have the software updates and patches to fight back those security issues and bugs. So the moment you get that notification from your device manufacturer, try to update your smartphone's operating system as fast as you can. Otherwise, who knows, your phone can be compromised.
Mm, mm. Thank you so much. And in your view, and wrapping up our interview, what are the leading security challenges in the Indo-Pacific and in Australia? What are the matters of great concern when you think about cybersecurity?
Well, again, there are plenty of security threats and challenges in this region and in Australia. And as I said, Australia is losing billions of dollars due to these cyber crimes. And there are plenty of businesses who has been attacked a couple of times. And mid last year, our Prime Minister has also warned us that Australia is being targeted by sophisticated state-based actors. So we have to work together. Now, in terms of the most notorious threats, I would consider ransomware attack. So in a nutshell, ransomware attack is something where the victim will not have access to their computing devices unless a ransom is being paid to the cyber criminal. And if you consider this particular ransomware attack in critical infrastructure setup, for example, if you again consider the healthcare sector, if the healthcare sector is under ransomware attack, our patients, our nearest and dearest ones' lives are at stake. Imagine a situation, my dad is undergoing a surgery, and all the surgeons and doctors are heavily relying on the information or the patient data stored in the computing devices. So they don't really memorize everything or they don't look at the paper-based files anymore. So what if those devices are under ransomware attack? So in the emergency operation theater, lives are at stake. So ransomware attack is probably the most notorious threats we are having. And it's not just that. In recent times, we are going to experience a newer variant of ransomware attack, which we call ransomware 2.0. So instead of blocking access to your computing devices, the cyber criminals can have access to your computing devices and they steal sensitive information from your device without even leaving any trace. And then they start blackmailing you saying, hey, I have got access to this sensitive information, sensitive photos, sensitive passwords, banking details, all this information is my hand now. So this is another form of blackmailing. So they're not going to do anything unless you do not follow them, or if you do anything against them, or if you stick to the plan that we don't negotiate with terrorists, then your sensitive information might be leaked online, and we don't want that to happen. So in a nutshell, all I am saying is we have to be really vigilant when it comes down to the usage of our computing devices. So in summary, I know it's all doom and gloom, but I have been working really hard, and the good news is in Edith County University with my brilliant colleagues and students, we are working to fight back the cybercrime, and trust me, I will not give up trying. So in general, it might sound like a cliche, but there are some advices we all need to follow. Always keep your smartphone devices software updated. Use multi-factor authentication. And last but not least, do not use easy passwords like 1234566. So try to use complex passwords. So that's all I can advise based on my experience. So I hope it has been something meaningful and some takeaways are here.
Certainly, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you so much. And before we finish, just some final reflections when you're talking about cybersecurity. You are extensively talking about criminal activity through cybersecurity. Would you like just to give some final remarks, although I know this is a bit controversial, about state activity engaging in cyber warfare against other states, and whether Australia could be in danger of suffering cyber?
Yes, this is a very gray area, but at the same time, when it comes down to cybersecurity, it falls under the umbrella of national security. So yes, this is a very interesting topic. Australia has already have been following the international cybersecurity frameworks. That means if we have allies, we can track down cyber criminals, even if that is from another state. But in case of cybercrime, and even if it is coming from another sophisticated state-based actor, then we can't really do anything. It's not like within a geographic location. There is no border in cyberspace. So anyone from country X can launch cyber attack against the critical infrastructure of Australia. We can't really track them down. We can only have idea where this is coming from. But when it comes down to prosecute these cyber criminals, our hands are tied. We can't really do anything as of now, and it is really challenging and very hard to track down where these attacks are coming from and who are responsible for that. And if this is state sponsored, then there is nothing much we can do. But yes, we are trying our best to fight back and ensure national security of ours.
Thank you so much. Fascinating talking to you. Thank you for your time, Dr. Ahmed. And for more information, please visit our website, www.internationalaffairs.org.au. Thank you.